was thinking about on my way over here today.
Mm.
Oh, by the way, welcome back to the
Oh, yes.
Pretenders podcast.
Hello.
Episode 4 of the Pretenders podcast.
Or
I was like, this is a side quest. Like right now, this podcast I'm doing, it's a
Yeah.
side quest.
it is a side quest.
Do you think you're a side quest or a main quest person?
I love going on side quests.
You're a side quester?
Sometimes when I'm bored, like I will just, with like no plan in mind, I'll just go out, like into the city.
Oh, no destination?
No destination in mind. I did this once because I was trying to. I don't have social anxiety, but like sometimes like I will not go to certain events because like all my friends are busy or something. And I remember like last year, I lived near this jazz bar. And I was just kind of walking around and I'm like, musician I like was playing there because I've heard him before, and he just always has like the most fun set. And I was like, oh man, it's just gonna be really weird if I just go by myself. But I was like, you know what? I don't care.
Fuck it.
So I was like, yeah, fuck it. So I went. I paid the fee. I was chilling in there. It was nice because it's like mostly like a little bit of like an older crowd, and I was just like having like the most fun. And then I made friends with these two girls who were my age and
that's
stuff,
so cute.
and we still follow each other on Instagram. One of them's married now. Like it's just like I don't know. I love going on side quests and meeting people because, to be honest, I think most people are friendlier than you think.
100%. I will say I have had a couple like rude interactions with strangers.
Yeah.
It comes with the territory, but I will say for one mean or like rude person you meet when you're, out and about trying to like talk to new people, you're gonna meet 10 really, really nice people.
I completely agree. Also, I don't know, it depends on like where people live and stuff, but like I don't know. I live in Toronto, and like Toronto has a lot of friendly people.
Well, I think it's bigger city. You're constantly used to being around each other. I will say smaller cities, sometimes you kind of get a little bit of weird stares if you go to your way to talk to people. Because
the people can just kind of like keep to themselves.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit. But I think I'm more of a main quester.
Main quester?
Yeah, I think I'm more of a main quester. Like I think I stick to like, I've always known like goal in life. I'm like acting, so a lot of things I've done are like acting related, whether it's like classes, work related things, whatever. Do I dabble in the occasional side quest? Yes, but I realize how it's important to have side quest friends in your life, because I love nothing more when I get like a random phone call from my side quest friend. A couple years ago, my friend dials me up and she's like, I'm working at a lobster factory. And I'm like, and just the week before that, she was working as a server. And now she's at a lobster factory. And then she was dating a mechanic. Like, and all these things just happen.
I love that, though.
No, it keeps it so fun. It's so chaotic. You need a side quest friend.
I have two. One of them told me about how he was recruited by the Vatican to perform exorcisms. And I'm not even joking, by the way.
That's insane.
He showed me his exorcism homework.
Was it a lot of homework?
Not too much.
Okay.
Not too much. My other friend, also the biggest side quest person ever, and like I don't hear from her much. Like we're friends, but like I know she's always doing something. She's always changing her life around. Like really fun person. I remember she told me how she was in LA one time, and she called me while this was happening, and this guy came up to her and he's like, "Do you want to do a personality test?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And the personality test was a Scientology reading. She didn't know this, though. She didn't know. And then she figured it out while she was there. And then she's like, oh, okay, bye. She gets to her hotel room. The door's open. And I'm like, switch rooms. She's like, nah, I think I'm going to go shower. Yeah, they still contact her to this day. Like, it's been like a year or two.
There's no way.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, like, are you blah blah blah? Like, are you available? Are you free? Like,
that is a side quest gone wrong.
I know, but she has so many side quests. My other friend, he also has so many side quests. Like, I swear, he's always like, first of all, he's always in a different country or like place or like.
That's so fun.
I love that so much.
That's so fun.
I love that so much. I want to be a side quest person.
I want to be a side quester too.
Like, I think being in acting is already like. Not a side quest, but like
kind of.
All the different like roles you get are so strange. For example, doing any horror movie audition is a side quest.
I dread them and I love them at the same time because the genre itself, I like the material. I feel like there's always something crazy going on. However, recording them in an apartment, even a house, sometimes they want you to scream. They want you to yell, or there's a really high-stakes scene going on. You're emoting very loudly. Somebody from my agency got the cops called on them because in the scene they were talking about I think what actually happened in the scene was the cops confronted them, like a cop, and it was like, oh, I heard there's bodies in the woods, they're hiding
No,
bodies.
did the neighbors hear
The
bodies?
neighbors heard, and they heard bodies, so they had the cops come up and knock on the door, and the actor had to be like, hey,
Oh
this
my
is an audition, I
god.
can show you the material. But the cops fully showed up because the neighbor overheard there's dead
Of dead
bodies. There's dead
bodies. Yeah.
bodies. And I'm like, that's insane. And then at the end of the post, he's like, I really hope I booked this one. It's like,
It's
I
really
love
awkward to
that.
film certain stuff in your house. Like, I think I can say this, but I think 2 summers ago, or like no, last summer, I recorded an audition for Final Destination, and they asked for the actors to do a horror movie scream at the top of your lungs. That was in the description.
Oh, and there's our like if you've seen Final Destination, like it's straight
Yeah,
horror. It's like
it's straight.
it's guttural. Like it's a genuine
yeah,
scream.
it's gory.
Yeah.
It's like ugh. Anyway, I was living in a different apartment that was a little more soundproofed. But I was still really, really scared that I was gonna get the cops called on me, because it's just also it's really hard to just scream at the top of your lungs.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
If I'm outside, it's easier. You know what I mean? But when I'm in my own apartment in my own head thinking, oh, the cops are coming, it's like really hard to like
It's
let
hard
go.
to commit. Oh my god. No, because so I was helping my friend. I was reading for her because she had this audition for this TV show, whatever. And anyways, there's a scene where they're doing this like exorcism scene,
Mm-hmm.
and basically she's very against like the exorcism, and she's like, guys, like don't do this in my house. Anyways, they end up summoning some demons, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
And so the girl who's like really, really scared, she lets out like kind of a scream, and she lives in an apartment. And we did this scene a couple times or whatever, and the neighbors behind her started screaming back.
Oh my god.
She would
They
scream
went in
and
on
do
it.
a little like, ah,
Oh.
and then in the back, like 2 seconds later, they did go, ah.
At least they were in on it.
She literally was like, we're done, Siera. Like, I don't want to
We
record this
can't do
anymore.
this anymore.
I was like, we're done.
I've had an audition before where I was being possessed. So you can imagine, like, that is like, whoa, like recording that in your apartment, and you're supposed to be like, I remember the character was supposed to be like gurgling and throwing up, and her eyes were rolling back, and she was like twitch. I was like, okay.
Oh, that's a lot. I've never had anything like that.
I was like, whoa, I need to be in a studio for this. It's just so much easier to do it when you know, like, the cops are coming.
The cops are coming. You know nobody can overhear you.
Yeah.
Because it's worse out of context. Because it's like, I know what I'm doing in context.
So much worse when you can't see and it's just sound.
Like, what are the people behind you are going to think? They have a crazy neighbor or something like that. Didn't you have to do like a pregnancy audition?
I had to do a giving birth scene. Giving birth.
I remember you texted me and you're like,
this was a couple years ago, and like
that was a long time ago.
Whoa. Like, I think that's diabolical to ask for in a self-tape. I do think it's a diabolical ask. Like, I don't think, like, that should be like, okay, we're calling into the studio to see if you can do this.
No, it was insane.
You know?
I remember I had this one where, like, there was, like, candy corn that was, like, I'm supposed to be, like, I don't know, in, like, a horror house, and, like, candy corn is, like, funneling around me, and I'm, like, getting suffocated by this candy corn. I'm trying to, like, outrun it, and I'm, like, slamming doors. I'm like, you can't, like, let it get to you, blah, 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 blah. And
you can't let it get to you.
And then I'm also talking to a ghost. There was a lot going on.
What do you think about, okay, would you ever do a movie with, like, severe, like, demonic and, like, possession and stuff like that? Because I know some movies like that have had, like, really bad luck and, like, bad omens, and, like, the actors, like, die early, or, like, there's really crazy shit on set happening, and, like, there's just, like, a bad, like, aura. I know a few older horror movies have had that, and, like, the actors have spoken out about it, like, years later, being like, it was, like, horrific to do this.
That's kind of crazy. I've never really thought about it because I'm not too spiritual myself. So like from a spiritual standpoint, I don't think I would really be bothered. Like I wouldn't be working and thinking like, oh, like
if you had to say like a real ancient like demon summoning like ritual, like if you actually had to do it.
Honestly, I think I'd feel a little bit weird about it, but I'd do it. I do it for the plot. I don't know, but I'm also one of those people, like, back in the day, like, when Ouija boards were, like, super trendy, I would be the person that would move it towards the letters.
Did you do a Ouija board?
Yeah. I feel like you gotta be that friend that somebody's gotta push it.
I've never done a Ouija board.
Did you ever have an opportunity to?
I will never do it.
Why?
Because I know they're real.
The Pretenders podcast, a Ouija board special.
Never.
Guys, when?
Never. Ernesto is the only spooky thing I can
what
handle
about like
here.
Charlie, like with the pencils? Did you ever do
Charlie seems like BS, but like,
Charlie was bullshit.
but like, no, Ouija board never, because I
Come
have seen
on.
ghosts. I think I talked about this in our first episode.
Really great story time. If you haven't seen it, go check it
Yep,
out.
I've seen ghosts. My entire family has a ghost that lives in our cabin. Everyone has seen it. Guests we brought over have seen it, heard it, felt it. So I know that stuff is real. And there was a movie actually that came out last year or this year called Talk to Me about a Ouija board.
Oh no, I didn't see it.
Horrific movie, very good movie, but are you a fan of scary movies?
Not really.
Not really. I love scary movies.
I don't really like to be scared.
Really?
Yeah, I don't.
But you like to do a Ouija board?
Yeah, because I'm in control of the thrill. Like I don't like haunted houses. I don't like things like that. I don't know. I don't like to be spooked.
But you did a Ouija board.
Yeah, but also that's the thing is it's funny because like I don't like horror movies, but I don't mind acting in them because like it's all very mechanical. Like
it is.
the acting is freeing, but it's also mechanical in the way things move on set. So it's like it doesn't. There's no really scary aspect there.
Yeah, because you're on set.
There's none of the music, the atmosphere, like whatever. You're on set, you're surrounded by people.
Yeah.
So I don't get scared. But like would you do like a super scary horror movie with like
I
ancient
love horror
texts?
movies.
You do?
I love horror movies.
Okay.
Like this year I'm trying to think of the horror movies I saw. I saw Smile and Smile 2.
I heard those were good.
Smile 2 was amazing. Because I was like, when I first heard about the plot, I was like, I don't know. I feel like it's a little too big. Like I feel like they kind of not lost the plot, but like I didn't think it would work. And then I watched it and it was actually horrifying.
Yeah.
Because it's just because technically like something like that could happen to anyone where your like perception is altered. I'm not giving anything away by saying this, but like it's just like where you're actually just losing your mind.
Oh,
and things
so
aren't
psychological horror.
It is, but it is also like it is also just terrifying. Like they have horrific, horrifying scenes in it. I wouldn't consider The Substance a horror. That was an amazing movie, but a lot of people just thought it was like body horror.
Okay.
I'm fine with stuff like that. That doesn't bother me. I would do body horror.
Like
I would even do like stuff like Smile 2. I watched Heretic recently. Very good movie. I really liked that one. But that was like not grounded in reality, but like a little bit more. It wasn't like, like ancient demons and stuff. It was just a guy, and like that's what reality is. In reality, the scariest things are other human beings.
100%. That's why psychological horror, I think, gets me the most.
Gets you more?
Because it's the most rooted, in my opinion, in reality. The most probable of what could happen.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't think, like, if someone on set was like, this is like a real ancient, like, demon summoning, I'd be like, nope, I'm not doing that.
You really wouldn't?
Nope, I wouldn't. I'd be like, that's my line, I'm not doing it. You have to alter, like, half the words, or I'm not doing it.
You know what? Fair enough. I feel like everybody's got a line that they don't cross.
Yeah, I wouldn't do stuff like that. Because, I don't know, I've just, like, heard of, like, actors having, like they've said afterwards, I can't remember if it was The Exorcist. There was one really, really famous.
The Shining that people said there was like
The Shining. That was just like the director tormenting the actors.
Oh my god,
poor Shelley Duvall.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, never.
That's your big no-no.
I'm saying it now, and if I change my mind, I'm possessed by a demon who's controlling me.
Casting directors, if you see this,
she's good for it. She's good for it. And you can act your ass off, so I know she would do it well.
I read for a lot of horror, actually. I think that's the genre that I read for the most. What do you read for a lot?
I would say recently it's been a lot of like stuff with like comedic undertones, but usually it's like pretty grounded. I like grounded stuff way more though.
I'm personally more of a fan of things reality.
But like I like being like a little, I don't know, because like it's weird. Like I don't think I'm that funny with like scripts and stuff. Like I don't think I have like, I think some people are just naturally funny with like their mannerisms and their voice and
100%,
they say stuff.
100%.
Yeah. But comedy is nice because like if you're playing a certain, because I have done like a few comedies, I think, like me too, and like the characters I've played have always been like, they don't know that they're being funny.
That's always the best kind
That's
of funny,
the best one.
where the audience is the one getting the joke.
I think I really first heard that like quote or saying from, is it Bryan Singer, the guy who's in Breaking Bad? I always get his name wrong. Anyway, the guy from Breaking Bad, I think it was him. I saw an interview with him and he's like, I think it was maybe from like Red Table Talk. Do you ever watch those?
Occasionally, yeah.
I like those. Yeah, I like those.
Actors on Actors.
Yes, I actually love those. This is like actors on actors. Pause.
Wait,
This is like actors on actors.
wait, maybe
Plus Ernesto.
that's one.
Um, but yeah, the guy from Breaking Bad, I remember watching an interview with him, and he was saying that like the best way to like deliver a comedic performance is like you don't know you're being funny. It's funny to like
100%.
the audience or like outside of yourself, but it's you're not trying to be funny in the scene. And I always like I don't know after I like because I used to struggle a lot with comedy auditions, but then after I saw that I was like, wait, that makes so much sense. And I just like took it like so much more naturally and like I don't know, it actually flows way better if you do
A
it that way.
100%. I think the worst thing you can do in comedy is try too hard.
Yeah.
Try too hard because I always feel like if you're not trying hard enough, then you can play it off as the whole like, oh, lights on, nobody's home. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can, I feel like you can always under deliver comedy than over deliver it, and it
I
will
feel
be
like it's
received
if it's
better.
good writing, it still works.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
If it's
Yeah,
good writing, good timing, good pacing, it still works. But like if you over deliver, it can feel like really like I don't know, I feel like
is uncanny the right word?
yeah, like almost like a little like you can tell that's not like a real person. Like it's a very charactery
They're trying
character.
to hit the joke instead of hit the scene.
Yeah.
Very
Like
that.
I don't know, I feel like The Office is a really good example. Like everyone's just really natural. Have you seen The
I've
Office?
seen The
Yeah.
Office. Yeah,
It's just like natural and it's like
none of them know they're being funny,
no,
but
yeah,
that's the whole
that's
like
the whole
that's why the
thing.
atmosphere really works. Sometimes
Yeah.
I used to think back in the day the Office was really awkward,
Mhm.
and then I actually like gave it a shot. I'm like, oh no, this is funny.
It is.
Like
It's really
this
funny.
is
It's
funny.
really funny. And I think like it still resonates with like people now, even though like I don't know, you could say it has a cancelable jokes or whatever, but like I think it still resonates just because it's so natural and like grounded. And like yeah, people do say dumb stuff. People do say cancelable stuff all the time. That's just
Yeah,
how life is. Nobody's perfect, you know, but I think that's what like it just feels really natural. And like the setting, it could be boring, but it's such a nice setting because like the characters are all so real but also themselves and so funny that like it doesn't matter what the background was, like what the setting was. Like they
that's
could
what I
be
realized the charm
anywhere.
was. It
Yeah.
kind of set me off at first when I tried to do my first watch through. I'm like,
Hmm.
it's just not giving. And then I'm like, oh no.
It
Like I
is,
really feel
yeah.
like I'm looking into these people's lives, and it's like it's amusing.
Yeah, I've recently started Community,
Oh, I haven't seen
and
Community.
it's like it's kind of the same. Where like I thought it'd be boring because I'm like, oh, it's just set in like a community college, like whatever, like no high stakes or anything. But it's actually really funny. Same with
Yeah.
New Girl. It's literally
I've
just
heard New Girl's
about
good.
it's. I love New Girl. New Girl and Modern Family, I think, are like the best like sitcoms from that era. Maybe the best sitcoms ever. I love Modern Family.
I know you talk heavy on New Girl and Modern
Yeah,
Family.
New Girl. I don't
Yeah.
know. Modern Family is just so sweet because it's like really about like family. So like even if they like you know like obviously like there's like arguments or like whatever blah 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 whatever, but it really just almost feels like a reality show because they have like interview segments with the characters.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
that. I
so like
haven't
they
seen
have like
Modern
sit
Family.
down interviews. So it just feels
Okay.
like it kind of feels like you're watching a reality show of a family instead of a TV show.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
like
I love
that.
that. And it's just so different the family because there's three separate family units but they're all like related. And it's just I don't know. That show tugs on my heartstrings because it's like I think it's like the perfect mix of like comedy and like heartfelt and like actually like good lessons if you're watching like with like kids or something.
Okay, it tops everything.
Yeah, I love that
Oh my god,
show.
maybe I need to hop on Modern Family. I don't watch. Okay, I do watch shows and movies, but I primarily watch a lot of anime.
A lot of
This is no
anime.
secret. You know I love my anime.
Yeah.
You know what's really crazy? Anime going mainstream over the last couple years, I think has been nuts.
Yeah.
Do you remember back in the
Yeah.
day when like if you told people you watch anime, you used to get like
Yeah, you're
dogged
like
on.
you're a loser.
You're a loser. You have no
You have no
friends.
friends and you're lame. Yeah, anime is huge now.
It's huge. I was talking to my younger cousin, and he literally said he's like, yeah, like people who watch anime are now like the popular kids. Like I
Yeah,
want to start watching anime, and I was
I
like,
know. It's such a
the
huge
times have
shift.
changed. I'm like, what is happening?
I love that though because anime is so cool and it has so many. I just think animation's a really good
It's
storytelling
my favorite
format,
medium of
amazing
all time.
format, and you can just do so. You can literally do anything, you know. Because like with acting, it's like I mean you know like with actual actors, cameras, real life. It's so hard to capture certain. I don't know if it could be like backgrounds or settings or to like make something look fantastical. I think fantasy is almost always better animated.
Fantasy's really hard, I feel like, for live action.
Yeah,
Even if you have a
fantasy and
crazy budget.
sci-fi.
I feel like sci-fi's been getting better.
It has,
Recently,
but
sci-fi's
like
been
I don't know.
popping.
Would you consider like Arcane sci-fi? Is it fantasy? Kind of sci-fi-ish. I don't know. It's kind of like
Kind
a
of.
mix of
It's got a
both.
lot going on because it's almost kind of futuristic. Like I think about like the tech and stuff, but then
Yeah,
it's kind of
it
dystopian.
is. But that show, you could
Arcane is
not.
fire.
It's so good. But you could not make that in real life and make it look good. It would
No,
look goofy, you know, like the pink hair, the blue hair,
not
the
at all.
laughing, the jumping, the facial expressions. It just looks so much better animated. Same with like Castlevania. That's a fantasy one.
I need to watch
I love
Castlevania. Look,
Castlevania.
that one looks really great.
So much better animated.
Like I just love animation. You can do slice of life, you can do shonen, you can do seinen. Like there's so many different genres you can hit, and they all can work.
They all
Arcane
bang.
is the show of 2024, though.
Yes,
I have to say,
oh my god. I'm
Arcane is the show of
so
2024.
excited to watch the second season. I've been seeing so many, like, not spoilers, but so many clips and, like,
No,
the
I've been trying to
character
avoid them.
design, the colors, the I don't know. I don't know what they be feeding those animators.
They're cooking so severely.
Like,
And they took their time. The fact that it's been 9 years since I think they first started cooking this up.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
The original voice actor for Powder, who
Mhm.
voices like younger Jinx,
Mm.
she started recording her lines when she was 11 years old. She is 19.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they have been cooking up Arcane for so long.
I don't know. I just feel like Netflix cooks severely sometimes.
Oh, they really do.
So severe.
And also just League of Legends. Like, no tea on League of Legends,
Yeah.
no tea on the League players, but it's just not something I would have looked at and been like, let's make a show from this.
Yeah, because it's just like I don't really think of it of like that exciting of a game or like that. Yeah, it definitely has a big audience, but I just mean like if you made a show out of it, you would think like, oh, whatever. But like,
Yeah,
it's so good. Like they took the characters and they made them so like real. You know,
lovable. It was crazy because
I love that show.
nobody wanted to do the soundtrack for Arcane when the first season was coming out.
Really?
Yeah, because they all thought this is kind of weird. I mean, to be fair, I believe it's from a smaller development team, so they didn't have a shit ton of work behind them. So people were like, "Oh, like I don't really know how I feel about this." And then Imagine, because everybody was dogging on Imagine Dragons for like doing, because I think they did they not do the song for it?
They did.
Yeah, Misery. Anyways, and then Imagine
Banging
Dragons,
song, by the way.
banger song.
I think that
Also,
song slaps.
Imagine Dragons, it fits the vibe.
Mhm.
I would picture something like that in a video game.
Yes.
It fits the whole
Absolutely.
video game adaptation thing. But yeah, nobody wanted to do the soundtrack, and Imagine Dragons was like, guys, we'll do it, and their label didn't want them to do it either, and now it's like a
Really?
smash hit. Yeah, their label didn't want them to do it.
See, like this is why, like
People don't believe in animation as a medium.
Yeah, but also like sometimes you gotta trust your artists. You know,
Trust the vision.
trust the artists, trust the actors or whatever. But like sometimes, I think sometimes studios, like I don't know, management teams, they just don't understand what people want. Like
No.
people love Arcane, like love. It's been 2 years and people don't care that the season dropped 2 years later.
It's a phenomenon.
It's a hit right now. An absolute hit. Yeah, I don't know. I love animation as like a storytelling format. I think it is actually like one of the best storytelling formats.
It's my favorite of all time.
Oh my god.
No, but you know what I was thinking about earlier when we were talking about side questing and having side questing friends.
Yes.
Do you think friend crushes are real?
Friend crushes?
Yeah, friend crushes.
Or like, oh, I really want to be friends with that person.
Yeah.
I've had that before.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, I've seen people and I'm like, oh my god, like we're into the same things and like whatever, and then there was never a time for us to like ever kiki
Yeah.
or like hang out, and I'm
Hang
like,
out.
oh my god, like why is the universe like our friendship should have happened? I think friend crushes are real.
I've done that before. Like I've like tried to like like if I really like this girl and I'm like, oh my god, we'd be like such good friends. Like I'm like I low key be like replying on their stories. I'm like,
Try to
oh my
slide in.
god, yeah, like low key, but like in a friend way.
Yeah.
You know, like oh my god.
That's so funny.
I have done that before though. Like I'm like, oh my god, I really want to be friends with this person.
Yeah, because you just know that you would like, I don't know.
You just hit it off.
You would just hit it off.
Yeah, I don't know. Like sometimes on the street too. Like I'll be walking around. I'm like, oh man, that girl's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
I just know they got the right vibe.
I just know it.
I always see the coolest people at the train station. Some people have these mean ass fits on.
It's always the
like,
train station and the
damn.
airport.
Oh, the airport is
Yeah.
airport crushes.
Airport crushes.
Airport crushes are crazy. Some
You
of
know,
these
I've never
people,
had like an airport crush, but it is always just really awkward to see a person your own age at the airport. That's what I find.
it's so awkward. I feel like I can't make eye contact with them,
It
but
feels
then I
like
also
it's
feel
like
obligated
it
to.
feels like we're almost like
Is it a challenge?
I don't it's just it's like this weird feeling. Like it's not like for me like I've never had like an airport crush. I think one time when I was 16, I got sat next to this guy who was like who looked really young too.
Okay.
And we were both in like the emergency exit lane and I was traveling by myself and like the flight attendant came up to us. They're like, "Oh, are you guys both over like I think it was like very young. It was like 14 or something." We're like, "Yes." And she's like, "Okay, just making sure like this is the exit lane, whatever." And I remember I was so nervous, just like sitting because it was just me and him, literally nobody else. And I felt so awkward. And I remember I had like this granola bar in my bag, and I was like, um, "Are you allergic to peanuts?" He's like,
Consider it, but that's so funny.
he's like, "Sorry." I'm like, "Are you fine if I eat the peanuts?" He's like, yeah." I'm like, okay. That's the only thing we said to each other the entire like
Super-
6 hour flight.
Super awkward interaction.
It just feels weird. Like it feels like, are we gonna get married or fight to the death? Like that's what it feels like at the airport when you see people your own
Seeing
age.
anybody your age, it does feel like a challenge. And then also if
Yeah.
I'm underdressed and I'm around somebody near my age who happens to be wearing a fit, I'm like, oh my god, I'm a fucking failure.
I'm a fucking failure. You know, I saw this quote years ago. I think maybe I was like 15 or 16. I think it was by Coco Chanel. I want to say, even though she
Coco
is
Chanel.
low key evil, but like,
Wait, Coco Chanel's evil?
yeah, she was doing evil stuff.
Oh, no.
I
didn't know that.
think the quote was dress like you would run into your enemy or dress like you're seeing your
Ooh.
nemesis. It was something along those lines. I know I'm getting it wrong, but that's the general gist. And I've thought about that. Anytime I want to go out looking like I put no effort in it, I'm like, what if I see my ops? What if I
Wait,
see
no,
my
that's
nemesis?
so real.
And that gets me good because I'm like, you know what? No,
You have to dress to impress.
you will never catch me lacking
No.
ever.
But I feel like it's easy to lack at the airport, especially if you have a long flight. Like, I just want to pull up in my matching, like, sweatsuit and call it a
But that's
fucking
cute.
day.
I don't think that's lacking.
Okay, okay.
I think the
Then I
matching
wasn't lacking
sweatsuits,
hard that
that's
day.
like
Okay.
that's airport chic.
Okay, word.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I didn't talk too hard.
That's airport chic. You know what I mean? Like if unless you're traveling like first class and like someone's taking care of your luggage, okay, go
Maybe-
ahead, like dress up a little more.
Yeah.
But like, no, flights are for looking comfy.
Looking comfy. I remember I had the rudest interaction.
At the
One
airport?
time, yeah, one time I was flying with my friend. We were going to visit some family, and we get on the plane. We're walking to the back, and we booked the two inside seats, the middle, and then the window seat. And the person that was on the aisle seat, they were already seated down and seated, whatever. It was a younger woman. She was probably in her like late 20s or whatever, maybe early 30s. And my friend had to put her carry-on bag up top. So we were walking down to the aisle and her bag was like really, really heavy. So we were both kind of like maneuvering it up into the overhead bin. And as we were doing that, I just said to the girl, "Oh, hey, just a heads up, we're gonna be coming into your row." Just kind of saying like, "Oh, like after our bag is done, we're gonna be coming in." She literally looks at me and she's like, "Well, does it look like I have room to stand?"
Oh.
And it was in a very nasty tone. And I was like,
Oh.
because we were putting the bag right in front of her in the overhead bin. And I said, no, 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 no. I just meant like after, I was just giving you a heads up. And that does like one of those like, and then goes back on her phone and starts like smashing away at the keys.
I cannot stand when people are unnecessarily rude.
It was ridiculous.
And also, you're about to sit next to this person for hours. Why is
It was a 4-hour flight.
Your first impression of this person total bitch?
Oh, it was awful. So then we put the bag in, and as she gets up, to let us in the row, unfortunately, she's huffing and puffing the entire time.
If you care so much, why don't you go buy a first class ticket?
It was just ridiculous because it was
actually get a private jet. Actually, if you care so much that other people are sitting next to you.
Yeah, I know. Like I just thought it was crazy because like we hadn't done any. Like we were literally just putting the bag in the overhead bin.
That's crazy.
She was huffing and puffing, and then when we went up to, we were like, okay, we're gonna use the washroom. We'll go together. We're not gonna be like complete assholes. And like when we were like, oh, like we're just gonna get to use the washroom, she literally like slapped her shit down and was huffing and puffing.
Why would you buy an aisle?
And she was standing up in the aisle. She wouldn't get back into her seat until we came back. She stood the entire time and was like tapping her foot aggressively and kept like looking around.
I cannot stand people like that.
I just have no idea what set her off.
Some people are just like that. They're just
No,
irritable at everything, you know? Like I don't know, some people are really, really strange. Like I've had some like random, like very rude interactions for absolutely no reason.
Yeah, some people you just catch it. It was crazy though because on our flight back, we had the nicest guy. He was telling us about how he like makes his own like booze and stuff like that.
I
He was
love
like, it
that.
was like he was like super duper cool, but it was just like night and day interaction
Yeah.
difference. It was bizarre.
The universe was like, let me send you a better person this time.
Yeah, he was super duper cool. He was offering us his candy. We did not take any, obviously, but
Oh,
like,
that's so sweet.
it was very nice.
Love. Okay, this is really weird. I love airports.
You like airports?
I love airports. I love flying. I was gonna say I love TSA, but I don't love TSA. I don't. There's just something like about the airport because I used to travel a lot when I was a kid, and being in an airport is the most comforting thing. Being in a plane is like my sanctuary. I
What?
love planes. Love planes. Obviously, when I was smaller, like, physically, like, I don't know, a foot shorter, it was easier. But, like, still, I love planes. I love it. It's like you're suspended from the rest of the earth for a little while.
Yeah, that part's
no
cool.
cares, no worries. I remember one time, actually, I saw a clip on TikTok. Someone's cat got out of the carrier and was like running around the cabin. That happened to my family and I when we
Really?
were on like a 14-hour flight on this, I think it was like this Polish airline, and nobody gave a fuck.
So the cat just got to like roam around.
He was just
Oh my
roaming
God, I
around the
love
cabin.
that.
It was so awesome. Nobody cared. Everyone was petting him.
He was getting little pets.
He was getting pets.
Oh my God.
Because he was really friendly too, and he's a really small, friendly cat, and everyone was just like,
That is so cute.
everyone was so nice. Everyone was also, I found out, random fact of the day, ginger ale tastes better when you're flying.
Okay, you know what? I believe it. There's something crispy about it in the air.
It's the apparently it's the pressure or the altitude or something. It actually changes, like it makes it taste better.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm fully serious.
No, because I've thought this. Sometimes I thought also
it
apple
tastes
juice.
so good.
I don't know. There's something about those airplane like pops. They do it.
But specifically
the
ginger ale, it tastes like you're like, whoa. It's like biting into like a crystal iceberg structure. You're just like,
I would take a flight just to grab some ginger ale.
I know. I don't know why it just and it's like, yeah, you can have like a nice crisp ginger ale down here, but it's not the same.
No.
So I'm sorry I have to curse you with that knowledge, but
I need to go fly 100 feet in the air and go have a fucking ginger ale.
ginger ale. Oh my God. But yeah, random fact of the day from my brain to yours.
And this was podcast information from our brains to yours.
We hope you guys enjoyed episode 4.
I know I did. Daniela, we need better segues.
I know. We're actually okay. We're really bad at segues because we're we're yappers.
That's why we're really bad. I was about to say it. We're Bluetooth connected right now.
Yeah,
because we can't stop talking. So it's like
that's the issue.
So like,
is I don't and this has been a problem for years because that's why our FaceTimes last hours.
They were really bad back in the day. I think they were like 6-7 hours.
Yeah, it was bad when we were in our teens.
I don't regret it though.
No,
I was enlightened. I learned a lot.
But yeah, now you know something.
Now you know.
The more you know. That picture.
Bye, divas. What picture?
It's from SpongeBob.